Hi, it's Aaron. Um, oh gosh, I don't know. Like, I've just been trying to record a video and it's not what I wanted to say. I started going off on a tangent, so I'm starting again. Hey, it's Aaron. I'm a bit poorly. You could probably hear it in my voice, maybe. Um, I might sniff a little. I might cough a little. I might be a bit breathy, a bit nasal. I've got a cup of coffee here, a nice latte, and I'm going to take my time. I'm taking my time. So this is just my spirituality vlog of end of January 2025. And holy shit. It's been super intense and I'm really feeling it. Today I've been crying my eyes out this morning and not knowing what to do with myself. I've got all sorts going on inside of me. It feels very chaotic. I feel very chaotic, and on top of that, I'm just absolutely wiped out from this cold. I'm not sleeping properly. Nothing's going. Nothing's normal. Everything feels very strange. I feel very dissociative in a lot of ways, which is something I haven't felt in a while. I feel the energy of something I went through in 2017, which is very intense. And I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I just want to be on and express, you know? That's what I want to do. I want to be here. I want to talk. I've needed to talk over the weekend. So what's been happening over the last few days is a community that I'm in, which is it's a blogging community, right? It's kind of like there's been a lot of drama. And it's been kind of around trans rights. That's the basic topic of the drama. A huge drama. And I'm not going to get into it, you know, like I don't want to get into it. That's not what I'm talking about here. Obviously it has been very uncomfortable for me to watch, but I don't have any solutions or conclusions about it. I've had my thoughts as it's unraveled and I've expressed them. I've talked about this on there. If you're at all interested in my blog, it's just a personal blog. There's no spirituality there. I keep it separate for now. I don't know. I think I want to keep it separate ongoing, but what am I saying? Yeah, if you want to read my recent thoughts and about being trans and my responses to the drama, and I don't want to use the drama in a kind of condescending, judgmental way. It is a drama. It's something that needs to happen. I think like it's valuable, but it's just very uncomfortable for all parties concerned. And just as a spectator, I'm a spectator. I'm not in the drama. It's not about me at all. But I have spoken about it, and if you want to read that, it's the last few days. I've been talking about it. So my blog address is aaron.me. And it's the last few days. If you, I think there's a search. I think there's a search button at the top. Just type in trans and you'll find it, or just scroll down or whatever. Anyway, I've been telling my story, and I think that's why I'm here today. I think I need to tell my story. And actually, I know I need to tell my story because for the first time in a little while, a few days back, I needed to spend some time channeling. Speaking with my higher guidance or whatever. And I don't have a record of it, actually. It was not really planned, and so I didn't actually want to break the channel to start recording anything, on my phone. But I do have quite a clear memory of it. And even the stuff I don't have a clear memory of, it doesn't matter. I mean, I am a conscious channel. I do stay awake. I do stay aware. I can come out of it anytime I want, but like when I'm in it, I don't really want to come out, I want to be there for that until it's finished, until it ends, and and the kind of the advice that they always give is it doesn't matter if you remember it or not anyway, really, it's still happening. And what we remember will come, what we need to remember will be remembered, in the moment that we need to remember it. So, I've been talking about I was asking some really quite triggering questions, because I've been experiencing kind of like these memories, kind of like, I don't know, kind of like past life memories or something, kind of like that, but it's kind of like it's not a past life, it's me. And there's only so much I want to say on camera, but it's like a sideways life, a side mission kind of thing, side quests like in a video game where the main story follows a linear path. Maybe there's a main story, and then you get to a point where you go off sideways into some other side story, and you return back to the place where you left, right? And you carry on in the linear story. That's all I can say. And just the fact that I know that that's kind of my reality is extremely hard to deal with. And I've not really had an opportunity to find anyone I can talk to about it, but that's okay. I don't know how real it is, I don't know how real it is. I don't know the ins and outs of it. And there may be some things in that side quest that have lingered with me and affected me deeply, maybe. And so I was asking about that. And yeah. And they kind of put my mind at ease. They kind of reassured me about some things that I was asking. And they were just like, you don't really need to remember this stuff. You don't really need to know, you know. But there are things you do need to know. And so I was told those things. And that was reassuring. But it's like... how do I live in the world knowing this stuff, you know? How do I live in the world with that being somewhat of my reality? How do I live in the world when I experience Mandela effects? How do I live in the world where I personally experienced a Mandela effect in my own life this year? A disjointed reality, like psychosis. Like, how do I carry on? And the answer is kind of you can't. You can't carry on because the part of you that can't needs to fall away, like an ego death, you know? The parts of us that hold on to linearity, right? So we talk about, spiritual people talk about non-duality, and they don't understand it until they experience it. And then when you experience it, you can't talk about it because there's no talking about non-duality. Not really. Not in the end. Gosh, I'm rambling, aren't I, again? But it's quite easy to talk about non-linearity, right? Like, that's another thing. It's something I'm experiencing. And it's like, you know, it gets into sort of metaphysics and consciousness and all of that stuff. But it's just like, reality isn't linear. And it's not just a fun concept. Like, Mandela effects are fun, aren't they? Right? Oh, that's fun. Mandela effects, let's like find out about Mandela effects. That's fun. That sounds cool. That sounds like a movie or something, right? But it's not fun when you are the one experiencing it. It's not fun. It's distressing. And the more personal it is, the more distressing it is. So this year I've experienced a personal one, maybe for the first time. The first time I remember. The first time I'm aware of. And it's hard. It's tough. It's tough going. So anyway, I was talking with them and I was asking them, you know, about my journey, about, you know, why I'm here. Because I kind of feel like, what's the point right now, you know? I kind of feel that. As my personal reality has changed quite a lot in the last year. The people I see, my loved ones, the availability of my loved ones, who needs me, what they're asking, what those people who need me are asking of me, how that's changed. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know what I'm doing now. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't understand my roles. These roles that I have are falling away or changing, you know. like being a parent, for example. I mean, that's not falling away, but it's changing drastically. And I'm struggling to keep up with it, you know? So I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what the point is. You know, honestly, that's where I'm at today. That's where I've been at all month, really. Like, what's the point? You know, I've got strange things happening socially last year and again this year. So people are being deeply strange. But maybe I am as well, you know, in return. Like, it's just so weird. I'm struggling with relationships, friendships, interactions, everything. So I'm asking, and I was like, and I'm looking back. I'm reflecting on my journey back to when, you know, there was a time where it looked like I was going to be one of these online kind of spiritual teachers or whatever. I kind of laugh about it now. I think it was so ridiculous. But it was something I thought was happening. Because I actually did go through an awakening, a real awakening, and a psychosis as well. This is the thing. It's so hard to talk about. It's so hard to explain. Everyone's got their own ideas about these words. Awakening can mean anything, right? So I was asking them, and they were like, "No, you're not here to teach. Not like that." And I was like, "What am I here to do then?" Because I feel something about that, you know. And it's not just my ego. It's not spiritual ego. I mean, there was spiritual ego has played a big role in my journey. But this lingering sensation of needing to teach or something, it remains, and it's like, and it's not ego. That side of it, it's like, that's a role, it feels. And they're like, "No, you're here to tell your story. We want you to tell your story. We want to hear your story, you know?" I mean, this is another fascinating thing about spirit, about them, you know, all those aspects that we can tap into, whether it's, you know, a particular flavor of consciousness or just something more abstract like higher self, or you know, just guides, or it's the Arcturians, you know, for example. Like, I haven't spoken to them in so long. I got a response, but, you know, like, I used to think I was here to channel. I used to think I was here to teach. I used to think I was here to share my light language and all of that stuff. And it's all, and I did for a bit, you know, I tried, and it was all very messy, and I was psychotic as well, and I was in my ego, and all of that stuff. And it's all fine, you know, it's all okay. But they're saying, "No, you're here to tell your story." And I think that's the teaching, isn't it? Isn't that the future of where we're going? Where we teach by doing, you know? Like, it's not about trying to get people to do things a certain way or think things a certain way. It's like we learn by doing, and we follow the example of others that have gone before us. More so now than before. So I can tell my story, but it's not me saying this is how to do this. It's just like, this is how I did it. This is how it happened for me. As far as I can tell, this is my current perspective on that. There's no advice. I don't have advice for people. I just have, well, I wouldn't do that, but I'm not saying it. Because there's value in learning by doing, right? Hmm. $21.12. So yeah, I don't have anything more to say right now, I don't think. I'm just here to tell my story. I need to tell my story. And I've told some of my story on my blog. And please, if you're feeling delicate about trans issues, you might not want to read it. But I've talked about some of my experiences as a trans person. And I've had an incredibly warm response from the community. A response that I never could have imagined. I've never felt any kind of validation as I have through writing that. And yeah, like some of the responses are not exactly, responding to what my intention was with writing, my intention in it wasn't about farming sympathy or anything like that. It really wasn't. It just felt like I needed to give a perspective on the drama that was unfolding from a viewpoint that I wasn't seeing shared, and I could give my viewpoint by example, right? I could tell my story. And it was just like, it's not very well written, in my opinion. I knew I was publishing something that was only half baked, but I mean, like, I can see all this spelling mistakes, and it doesn't flow well in places and whatever, but that's fine. I'm happy to leave it as it is. It doesn't need to be edited. Like, that's not the point. The point is that people connected with my story, and people were here for me. Whether I need them or not, that's not the point. The point is that they're here for me. They are... people showed up. From my perspective, people showed up in their droves, like I had so many lovely responses. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it. And they're still trickling in, and it's so humbling. It's so humbling to receive that. To receive that because of the journey I've been on. Especially because of this kind of spiritual journey I've been on. and the spiritual bullshit I've participated in, where I've thought I was better than people, and I've thought people were better than me. But what I'm finding is that we're all here together, no matter who we are. You know, whatever labels we have. It was just nice to receive the love and acceptance of others. And that's it. You know? No further discussion needed. So, you know, I want to continue telling my story. So I want to tell my story on this channel, on this project, this spirituality project, right? Which is separate, which I'm keeping separate. And I still haven't worked out the blog side of things. I'm sorry about that. If anyone's waiting or expecting me to have done something by now. I can't figure it out. And I may well, at this point, I'm considering returning to Substack. But I want to tell my story. I want to tell my story. On this channel, about my awakening, about my growth, about my healing, about my misconceptions, about my fears, about my ego, you know, all of that mess. I want to tell my story. I feel that's inspiring more than passing on stuff that I've channeled or whatever. And I'm not like, I love that stuff. I watch channeled information, I listen to channeled information. It's just generally the same that I'm getting. It's amazing. My channel is just open all the time. More or less. Even when I'm in suffering and stuff, it doesn't matter anymore. My channel is just kind of mainly a background thing. Like, I like to chat with them, right? It's not a huge big deal to channel like it used to be. But to sit down and have that direct connection, that's something I'm not doing so much anymore. Like I did the other day. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. But some of the channels I'm watching, like on YouTube, the information is exactly the same as what I'm getting. Even things like that thing on the last video I shared, where my channel, it came through as a request for me to include something in a prayer, to pray for those that feel defeated and those that feel victorious. I was asked to pray, and it felt really great to include that in a prayer, you know, an intention. And then a couple of days later, I watched a channel, and the lady, she channels the Arcturians, and they said the exact same thing. So there you go. Never goes away, you know? It's just integrated, isn't it, I guess? Nothing is lost. Okay. I ended the video and then I waffled on for a bit longer. But now I am going to end the video. 30 minutes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye.